We grow up surrounded by stories, powerful narratives about love, life, and happiness. From childhood, we're shown a path to fulfillment that almost always ends with a wedding. The white dress, the grand ceremony, the promise of happily ever after. This fairy tale is everywhere. Movies, books, songs, family, and society all reinforce the message. Marriage is the ultimate goal, the final chapter of a woman's story. But what happens after the credits roll? The stories stop at the altar. They don't show the reality that follows. Arguments over finances, endless chores, or the mental load of managing a household. We're conditioned to desire the wedding, not the marriage itself. This sets up impossible expectations, a stark contrast between fantasy and reality. For many women, modern marriage is less about being cherished and more about being constantly busy, managing an unequal distribution of labor. The Prince Charming of the fairy tale often becomes a man whose life changes little, while the woman's is completely remade. She's expected to be everything: career woman, perfect mother, homemaker, supportive partner, vibrant individual. The dream of being completed by a partner gives way to the exhausting reality of completing endless tasks for everyone else. This gap isn't a personal failure. It's a systemic issue rooted in outdated cultural narratives. Today's women are educated and independent, but marriage still asks them to shrink themselves to fit a role designed for a different era. The fairy tale was never our story to begin with. The feeling of being overwhelmed isn't just in our heads, the numbers back it up. Studies show married women, especially mothers, report higher stress and fatigue than single women. Shouldn't a partner make life easier? For many, a husband adds to the workload, not lessens it. While marriage boosts men's well-being, unmarried, child-free women are often the happiest and healthiest. Chronic stress from unequal burdens leads to real health consequences: anxiety, depression, even heart disease. This isn't about blaming individual men. It's a systemic pattern shaped by cultural expectations. These expectations place a disproportionate load on women, regardless of their ambitions. The numbers are an alarm bell. Marriage, as practiced today, often fails to provide a supportive, equitable environment for women. It's time to look beyond individuals and examine the structure itself. For many women, the workday doesn't end at the office. It just shifts to the second shift at home. Even in dual-income households, women do most of the cooking, cleaning, and childcare. This relentless cycle is expected, not appreciated, and breeds resentment. Beyond chores is the third shift: emotional labor, managing the family's well-being, remembering birthdays, scheduling appointments, soothing feelings. Women carry the mental checklist, often acting as household managers rather than equal partners. This imbalance transcends class, race, and geography. Women everywhere report feeling like the default parent. The lack of recognition for invisible work leaves women feeling unseen and unvalued. The consequences are profound: less time and energy for careers, hobbies, or self-care. The dream of equal partnership is replaced by a reality where one person's potential is sacrificed for another's comfort. This isn't partnership. It's a system quietly perpetuating inequality under the guise of love. The cycle of fatigue and frustration is real, and it's time to name it. True partnership means sharing both the visible and invisible work. To understand why marriage can feel like a trap for women, we must look at its history. Marriage was never designed as a partnership of equals. It was an economic arrangement, transferring property and forging alliances. Women were treated as assets, their value tied to virginity, fertility, and producing heirs. Laws like coverture erased women's legal identities, making them dependent on husbands. Though the worst laws are gone, their legacy lingers in cultural expectations: taking his name, being the primary caregiver, putting his career first. These aren't biological imperatives, they're social constructs from a patriarchal past. When women feel marriage isn't working, they're pushing against centuries of conditioning. The modern marriage is a battleground between ideals of equality and the remnants of patriarchy. The problem isn't women, it's the institution itself. The legacy of marriage's design still creates a structure that subordinates women, whose career takes precedence. Statistically, families move for the husband's job, reinforcing his work as more important. Financial power often remains with the higher earner, usually the man, creating dependency and vulnerability for women. The traditional family model traps women in economic vulnerability, making it harder to leave unhappy situations. The harm is often subtle: a slow erosion of identity and autonomy through countless small sacrifices. She may put off ambitions, lose touch with herself, and see her potential dim in her husband's shadow. This isn't exaggeration. It's the structural reality of marriage's slow evolution. The institution demands women be both independent and self-sacrificing, ambitious and accommodating. This contradiction is why marriage often feels like a performance of subordination, not a true partnership. Real change means reimagining the structure, not just the roles. Today's woman faces a unique trap, new pressures layered on old burdens. She's expected to be a career success and a perfect homemaker. Having it all means doing it all. The superwoman ideal is a myth that leads to burnout and chronic exhaustion. There are only 24 hours in a day. Something has to give, and it's usually her well-being. Men's roles have expanded only slightly, while women's have multiplied. Society praises men for basic parenting, while women's efforts are simply expected. Even in modern marriages, the fundamental imbalance remains. The husband's role is supplemented, the wife's is multiplied. Today's expectations are endless and contradictory, creating psychological distress. Women are told they can have it all, but not that they're expected to do it all, often alone. The result is a hamster wheel of effort and exhaustion. True equality means dismantling these impossible standards, not just adding new ones. Before saying I do, every woman should consider the real costs, personal, professional, and emotional. Marriage means constant negotiation and sacrifice, often with women giving up more time, freedom, and autonomy. Professionally, women are more likely to make career sacrifices for the family, leading to lower lifetime earnings and increased vulnerability. The emotional cost is high, carrying the mental load, feeling unappreciated, and losing self-esteem. The dream of partnership can become a reality of unequal burdens and loneliness. This isn't to say marriage is always negative, but women must enter it with eyes wide open. The fairy tale focuses on benefits, ignoring the real sacrifices marriage often demands. By acknowledging these costs, women can demand more equitable partnerships and set clearer boundaries. The cost of saying I do should never be the loss of who you are. Informed choices lead to better, fairer relationships. The goal isn't to condemn marriage, but to empower women to choose consciously, not by default. Today, women have more options than ever to build fulfilling lives on their own terms. Marriage should be a decision, not an inevitability. Empowered choices require hard questions. Is this person a true equal? Will they share the labor and support your growth? Actions matter more than words. Partnership must be proven, not promised. Some may choose to redefine marriage, rejecting traditional roles and building new models of equality. For others, remaining single is a powerful, valid path, an opportunity to invest fully in themselves. All choices are valid when made freely and with full knowledge of the realities. Our happiness doesn't depend on a ring, it depends on making choices that honor our true selves. Reclaiming our choices is the ultimate act of empowerment. The final step is supporting each other and having honest conversations about marriage and its realities. We must create spaces where women can speak openly, without judgment, about their experiences. Listening and validating each other's feelings builds a powerful sisterhood of awareness. We owe it to the next generation to arm them with knowledge, not just fairy tales. Share the data, the history, and the stories. Help others see marriage as a serious decision, not a default. Every candid conversation, every challenge to outdated narratives chips away at their power. Support policies that ease women's burdens. Paid leave, affordable childcare, equal pay. The personal is political. Marriage inequalities reflect broader injustices. Let's lift each other up, break the cycle of silence, and demand equality in all aspects of life. Together, we can rewrite the story. If this message resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe to help spread the word and empower more women. Your support makes a difference. If you like our content and how we are educating and empowering women, like, share, and subscribe to our channel.